In today's video, we've got Eddie Hall versus the Dutch Giant. If you're unfamiliar with who the Dutch Giant is, he's a 7'2" bodybuilding giant, now turned movie star. You might have seen him in Jack Reacher recently, but this guy has been on the fitness scene for years, and he's absolutely massive. And in this video, Eddie tests his grappling skills against the Dutch Giant. Eddie's no small human himself. He's 6'2", 160 kilos, and the Dutch Giant is 7'2", but he's also 160 kilos. So Eddie's got his MMA fight coming up against former 5-time world's strongest man, Mariusz Pudzianowski. I won't go through all the details of that fight here. I'll pop a video in the top left corner. And to help Eddie build up this fight, the Dutch Giant did a day in the life with Eddie Hall. But they go to the MMA gym, and in some of these clips, we get to see how Eddie is looking ahead of this Mariusz Pudzianowski fight. So let's jump into the video, see how Eddie's looking. Let's see him test his grappling skills against the 7'2" monster. The Dutch Giant is almost as big as the guy who Wes Watson had a fight with in the gym the other week. If you missed that video, I'll pop it up here. Absolutely brutal gym fight. I'm not being sarcastic there either. Go and check it out. Maybe at the end of this video. Let's jump in.
Top floor of this building here.
Combat Sports Center.
Combat Sports Center. That sign pretty much sums up what goes on inside. It's old, decaying, mouldy.
Hardcore gym?
Yeah, hardcore gym.
So you don't get spoiled?
Yeah. It's no aircon in here, buddy.
That's what we want. One thing I love about Eddie is all the money he's got, all the accolades he's got, everything he's ever achieved. He could train in the prettiest, most sparkly, shiny, brand new gym that's all luxurious and clean. But no, he chooses the cold, sweaty, gritty gym. That's where you're going to get real work done.
And with his trainer, he just explained, I'm going to do a warm-up first, then we're going to punch on the back. I'm going to lie on top of Eddie and he has to get loose. If he does, then we start over again. After that, I'm going to get a big body shield and walk like an elephant towards Eddie, and he has to stop me and punch me and just get very, very tired.
Okay, let's go. Okay.
I love that you put so much work into warming up. Most people don't understand how important it is.
When I used to do max deadlifts, I'd warm up for 2 hours before I go for max deadlift.
Yeah. How much was your deadlift record again?
500 kilo.
Let's see Eddie's flexibility here. For someone who is as big as Eddie is, that's not too bad flexibility. Will we see an Eddie Hall front kick or teep in the Mariusz Pudzianowski fight? Will we see any Eddie Hall kicks? I highly doubt it, because Mariusz is going to have the wrestling advantage. So Eddie's probably not going to risk getting taken down by throwing any kicks. I think we're going to see mainly punches in this fight.
500 kilo is...
Yep.
Best
the
deadlift
world record.
ever done.
When your nose started bleeding, eh?
Oh, okay, little crescent kick. Let's have a look. Look at that, Eddie. Go ahead, lad. Getting the leg right up there. You're like a ballerina now. Well in, mate. So this is where the Dutch Giant lies on top of Eddie, and Eddie's got to try and get up. Let's see what Eddie's grappling skills are like here.
So the objective when we start doing the drill is you cannot let me get up. Okay. So you got to think, you got to put all your weight as much as you can against me. No, seriously, mate, like 2 years of training, you could be like going for a world title. Seriously.
Yeah, imagine if someone like this Dutch Giant, 7'2", actually knew how to fight. Be dangerous. Francis Ngannou, who? Right, so they go back into the grappling in a moment, but first we've got a few punches from Eddie.
He's going to do this for 4 minutes, then I'm going to lie on top of him while he's tired.
I see, yeah. Head movement
He's going
there,
to do
Eddie.
this for 4 minutes, then I'm going to lie on top of him while he's...
Not bad. We got some Eddie Hall head movement before we get GTA 6. He goes uppercut and then ducks under and then pivots off. Not that bad. That's actually quite good. Not that I'd expect anything less from Eddie. He's getting really solid coaching. He's training with Tom Aspinall, a bunch of other absolutely humongous individuals, and also training with a multi-time kickboxing champion, Jake Oakes.
His mindset has to be life or death. 5, 4, 3, 2, come on, one more, 1. You're not done yet. I could probably only do 1 minute. This is 4 minutes.
You know, as soon as that bell goes, you've got to give it 100%. Give it 99%. You're getting knocked out.
See, the problem is, when you've got that much power, it's being able to replicate that power over and over and over again. It's all good having the hardest punch in the world, but then trying to keep that power up through 3-4 minute rounds, that's the actual difficult part. So you've really got to work on that strength endurance or power endurance aspect within your strength and conditioning. So that's why what Eddie was doing there is short punches, then 2 big power shots. You're basically building lactic acid up, getting your shoulders tired, and then still trying to replicate that power. Right, so now they go back to the grappling. grappling again. Let's see if Eddie can get up.
This is really good to have Oliver here, with him being the same weight as Eddie at 160 kilo. Had two wild bears.
I tell you what, the Dutch Giant was screaming his head off there.
Kilo.
Listen to him.
Had two wild bears.
See, now what the Dutch Giant was doing there, because he doesn't really understand much about technique, is he was just using every ounce of his strength to try and resist Eddie Hall. So although that's kind of a good thing for Eddie because he's got to fight against that much brute strength, it's not really practical for someone like the Dutch Giant, because after 30 seconds he'd just gas out. His arms will be full of blood and lactic acid and he wouldn't be able to keep up that strength anymore. And the good thing is, having someone like the Dutch Giant on top of Eddie, Mariusz Pudzianowski is like 30 kilograms lighter. So if Eddie's able to get wrestling work in with people like the Dutch Giant of this size, in theory, come fight time, if Eddie gets taken down by Mariusz, he'll probably have a better chance of getting back to his feet because he's used to bigger men being on top of him. Pause.
I was on top of him, which takes me less energy than him. I got out of breath after a few minutes.
He's knackered. He's like fanning himself down.
And look at this, he continues. He just keeps going. What a crazy beast. I'm hyperventilating while I was on top. he did not get up, so I'm super proud.
I've sparred with black belts on the floor, and no one's been able to keep me down like that. So.
Wow, that's crazy. That's such a compliment for me.
Yeah, no, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah, the black belt's 7'2", 160 kilos though. Probably not.
The same as filming stunts, sometimes things go wrong, so Eddie just hit my nose. You know, it's the uninevitable things when you're physical, but that keeps you alive.
You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
By the way, I was watching some Predator clips the other night, slight side note, and I've seen that film, it must be like 30, 40 times, and you just forget how epic and masculine and testosterone-filled films used to be.
You really go to your limits. And without carbs, I can't believe it. You're the proof that ketogenic diet works.
Yeah, so Eddie's pretty much on a carnivore diet, which means no carbs. I think he has little bits of fruit and maybe some carbs, but it's extremely minimal. However, for the vast majority of people, a ketogenic diet isn't the best way to go to maximize sports performance or even just training in the gym. Our bodies and our muscles' main fuel source and fastest fuel source is carbohydrates. That doesn't mean people can't do well on ketogenic diets. It's just most people would benefit from having carbohydrates in the diet if they want to maximize the performance, that is. And I don't know if Eddie's working with a sports nutritionist, but I'm sure if he was, they would probably make him eat some sort of carbohydrates. But I know that Eddie did the carnivore diet for different reasons. I think he had like gut issues and digestive issues and stuff, and he said his energy feels a lot better now he's not on carbs. So if Eddie feels better and he's getting fitter and he feels like his sports performance isn't being impacted, then that's fine. But the majority of you combat sports lads out there, or even lads who are just trying to maximize your gains in the gym, try and keep carbs in your diet.
Officially, name myself the biggest meatbag on planet Earth. It looks pretty fake, but look at his punches.
Shout out to Jake Oakes there. So this is who Eddie's training with, Jake Oakes. He's a multi-time kickboxing champion. I think he's seen a couple of my videos as well. So if you're watching this, Jake, big shout out to you. You're an absolute animal. In fact, I'll just show you the clip of him right now. This is his Instagram right here. Look at the speed of him. Here's a funny video, and the reason why it's funny is just because it's so violent. You see what I mean about the ability to continuously replicate that same level of power in every single shot? And I guarantee the start of the workout, the end of the workout, Jake's power probably looks exactly the same, just like that. So big shout out to Jakey. Right, so we got some pad work from Eddie. I think this music's also copyrighted, so I'll just have to turn it right down. One thing I do notice about Eddie is he has very short punches. We don't really see him do any like long, stiff jabs. He's doing a lot of close range work, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Probably just means that he's doing a lot of inside work. So if Mariusz gets close, then Eddie's able to work on the inside and throw those body hooks and throw those short jabs. screaming at him. Ah, and he's done. Well in, Eddie. Worked hard there.
Feeling good, mate. I think the important thing is, even after that 4th round, it gets down to 90 seconds and I'm completely calm, my heart rate's down, so I can go again. And that's important for me, is I can do 4 rounds at pretty much 100% pace and still have more in the tank.
So Eddie mentioned there about 90 seconds. I wonder if they're having 90-second rests in between the 4-minute rounds, or is it still just the 1 minute? Right now we have Jake and Eddie do the body punch challenge on the Dutch Giant. A little bit of fun.
So we're going to put the body bag on you now, and we're going to build up 10%, 20%. Yeah, build up. See how much you can take. We've got Jake Oates here, so he is a K1 European kickboxing champion.
That's so
okay. Another one? Attention to that, Jake.
I'm laughing and crying at the same time because I know what's coming.
Right, we'll go for 100% now. Okay, yeah, okay. It makes me dizzy. That literally that ricocheted up my arm. Can you imagine that? Landing square on your chin.
I guess you got me on record.
Okay, and then to finish, they do the punch machine challenge, and the Dutch Giant, considering he's not a fighter, he does all right, to be honest.
Think of your hand as like a ball of steel.
Yeah.
And you want to smack that with that ball of steel as hard as you can. What are the records? 892. I think 892 is a good target for us.
Okay, so I should get close to 892, then I should be very, very happy.
Very happy, yeah.
Yeah, again.
There you go.
3 higher, 3 higher. Wow. Oh. 881.
Damn, Eddie.
So sick how you put your weight in it. Oh.
I think.
So by the way, this is the hard hitters machine, which is extremely hard to score over 900 on. Any of the other machines, Eddie usually maxes it out. And the lad who's got the record of 916 on this machine isn't even really a big lad. He's got some definition, but his technique's just perfect. So the Dutch Giant, he's already got 862. Not really the best technique, but all that body weight behind him and that torque from having such long arms, it allows him to generate a lot of power without really trying. Now, if I had to either have a spar with the Dutch Giant or that Jake Oates, I'd choose the Dutch Giant because Jake has got the speed with the power. The Dutch Giant, he's got the power, but he's quite slow. Because he's so big, he will never be a fast, switchy guy like the way Jake Oates is. So you'd see the punch coming from a mile off and you'd have a bit more of an opportunity to get out the way. Whereas Jake would just be up in your face, and you'd just be fucked on the floor. So that was pretty fun. The main thing that I'm taking from this video is Eddie's putting the work in. He's got that work ethic. He's working hard. He's pushing himself to the point where he's collapsing on the floor at the end of the rounds. That's exactly what you want. So drop your thoughts down below, guys. YouTube's algorithm thinks you'll like this video, and I've just uploaded a new video to my fitness channel. It shows you some of the best exercises to do with minimal equipment if you want to fill out your t-shirts a little bit more. Okay, nice one, and I'll see you tomorrow.